All right, so Trump's rant on Mueller over the last 24 hours, along with his personal attorney calling for an end to the investigation, does have a lot of people weighing in. Listen.
To suggest that Mueller should shut down and that all he is looking at is collusion, if you have an innocent client, Mr. Dowd, act like it. Russia attacked our country. Let Special Counsel Mueller figure that out. And if you believe, as we found, there's no evidence of collusion, you should want Special Counsel Mueller to take all the time and have all the independence he needs to do his job.
All right, so John, that is essentially saying take the time. That's the antithesis of what you were just saying before, Representative Gowdy, that people wanted to, be expedient and hurry up. But when you've got Gowdy and others who say it takes time and allow that to happen, is that the message that's received by the president?
No, and I think the challenge is, and that as we see different organizations and whatnot interviewed, is that, people like Paul Manafort are getting dinged for not registering as a foreign lobbyist, things that don't have direct, not paying their taxes, the things that don't have direct relation to
But it was a
Russian
wide-ranging probe. I mean, that was already established.
Well, you're right, but I think the point is, if it's about Russian collusion, I think Gowdy's 100% correct. Take your time, do it properly. But if it starts to go beyond the scope of Russian collusion, that's a concern that the president and many others have. So It's one of those delicate balances. Take as long as you need, but no more.
Okay, Brian, is that the concern, that it's just going too far? It's not staying focused on collusion and that's it?
No, I mean, this criticism has been a go-to talking point for Trump surrogates, but I think it ceased to hold water when Bob Mueller started producing these indictments against Russian nationals involved in the hacking of the emails and in the influencing of our elections, and with all these guilty pleas from individuals in Trump's orbit who are now cooperators in the ongoing investigation. So this idea that there's a witch hunt here, I don't think holds water anymore. And here's a question I would put to Mitch McConnell. It's a very simple question that I hope Hill reporters this week will put to him. Why there's not a crowded agenda at all in the Senate these days. They're mostly just holding show votes to try to position themselves for the midterms. Why not send a strong signal this week by putting on the floor the Coons-Tillis legislation? That is, Chris Coons, a Democrat from Delaware, Senator Tillis, a Republican from North Carolina, have bipartisan legislation that would help insulate Bob Mueller, limit Donald Trump's ability to get rid of him. Why not put that on the floor? It would certainly command 60 votes in the Senate, would send a clear signal to Donald Trump, because the bottom line, Fred, is that our norms, our constitutional system of checks and balances cannot uphold itself. If Donald Trump takes this step of trying to fire Bob Mueller, our constitutional system does not take over or kick in on autopilot. The Congress has to actually exert agency and exercise its role and impose that check and balance. And so if we don't see action taken by these Republican leaders, if we see more passivity, then Donald Trump gets to behave like a tyrant with no blowback.
So, John, is there some consensus that among Republicans particularly there is an effort to try to insulate, protect Mueller, from a potential action from the president to have him fired?
I think there is, from what I hear behind the scenes. I'm not holding my breath what Brian suggested that that's going to pass. But I think that the thing is, I would be very surprised if the president did something against Mueller beyond a tweet, because I think even the president understands the blowback and the ramifications.
So you see this as just venting?
I do, yeah, because the ramifications that would have toward the midterm elections, I think, would be far greater than any ramifications that he's suffering right now from Mueller probing around the Trump organization.
Okay.
I wish we could, Fred, I wish we could take that as solace that Donald Trump would not cross this red line. But I think it was Maya Angelou that said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And who could have predicted he would have fired Jim Comey? He did that. He very vindictively told Jeff Sessions to fire Andrew McCabe this past weekend. This guy keeps crossing red line after red line. At some point, we collectively, Republicans and Democrats, have to link arms and say enough.